we've finally got it in the workshop. Long overdue update video on this thing, but Dean has finally moved his car down to my house so I can get this in here until he's ready to get on with his Scooby again. So we have got 2.5, maybe 3 months before Dean needs this spot back, so I'm afraid the Quattro Escort needs to go on the back burner just for a little bit, unless I can pluck through pieces on this thing quicker than expected, and then I might just be able to flip between the two. But we'll see what happens. There's a bunch of stuff to do on this. If you're new to the channel, new to this car, go and check out the last videos and you'll see what a basket case this thing is. So I did have a few people reaching out because I had the old kit that I removed off this thing up for sale, and that is because I have bought a new kit. So we've got a fiberglass Cosworth bonnet complete with vents. We've got a new WRC style front bumper that fits properly. We've got a new Cosworth rear bumper with the hole in the right spot for the exhaust. New side skirts. We've got a pair of new front wings and a pair of new rear quarter panels. These are the proper Replica style rear quarter panels. So this piece here is taller than the original Escort rear quarter panel, and that is so that the Cosworth rear spoiler then basically joins up to that, or in this case that quarter nestles into that recess on the WRC spoiler. So needless to say, we've got a load to do on this thing. I'm going to tackle the welding first because I can't really do the welding at home in my garage, and then we'll move on to the body kit, which I suspect I'm going to struggle with, if I'm honest. Never really been much of a fan of bodywork, and I think I'm going to find that harder than doing the welding. So what I'm going to do is we're going to turn this thing into a spot where we can actually get some decent light on it. I'm going to strip the inside out, get all the parts out from inside because I've got a bunch of stuff in there, get the seats out of the way, and then we're going to look at this repair here first and foremost. Now obviously this, if you've watched the last video, this was all hidden behind the rear quarter fiberglass panel, and it was all stuffed with body filler and newspaper and Christ knows what. So that rust all comes down here right the way down to the sill pretty much. But thankfully I've managed to find someone that's done me a cut, so I've got a cut from about here to about halfway across and then right down to the sill. So I'm hoping we can cut out what we need from that and puzzle it into this. Hopefully make it look decent, but we shall see. But I've been waffling on way too much already, so let's shuffle this thing around a bit and we'll get cracking on something. So much easier spinning that thing around on the skids than it is trying to spin the Quattro around on the bloody rotisserie. So much easier. Well, I've just spent a good sort of half hour cleaning out the back. I've just whipped off these aluminium plates that are on the back end of the quarter panels and on the inside of the doors, so I can assess what's going on behind all that. And these are all the parts I've had stashed away. So this is obviously my panel cut. This is hopefully going to do away with this nonsense I've got going on around here, and hopefully there's enough on there so I can cut out all this pitting that's all along this window opening. So hopefully that will see us right on that one. I have just been inside here, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. I have just been inside here, like I say, I've removed the panel to see how far down this rock goes, and thankfully it doesn't go very far, so result. So what else we got? We got a couple of rear wheel arches, and we got a couple of these pieces which are basically this section here, because this one is a little bit shot there, quite a bit of pitting along there and a little bit up there as well. This one's actually got some holes in it, so yeah, I've cut them off the car I've got on my driveway at the moment that I'm braking. which I'm also going to cut other pieces off to try and fix this one. New second-hand centre console, new dashboard, because again this one's been absolutely butchered. All sorts of things have been screwed onto it and cut out of it, and I hate to think what sort of mess the wiring is behind that. Yeah, we'll get into that another day. Got some wing mirrors. These are Mark 6 Escort wing mirrors. I've only got these because I want to rob the mounts off of it and hopefully the manual adjuster mechanism, and try to make it into one of these WRC style mirrors, which will complete the look perfectly, I think. If you're going to do a WRC rep, you might as well get the right mirrors, eh? But yeah, like I say, that's a job for another day. But we've got to try and make them fit in there somehow. And then we've just got Moretti's, which I think I've already shown you, and some spare backlights. But I think next step is going to be actually doing something and me stop talking. And we're going to make a start on taking these seats out so they don't get trashed. Lose the harnesses, lose the helmet net, and then we can have a go at doing something with that. Right, let's do it. Tripod. I got a bit sidetracked once again and decided it would be a good idea to strip out all the sound deadening off the floors of this thing. Curiosity got the better of me and I needed to see just how rotten this was. And if I'm honest, it's as rotten as I thought it was going to be. You have to excuse the light because it's absolutely terrible in here for lighting. Now it ain't as bad as what I was expecting, to be honest. We've got a bit of rust even up here, a bit on the floor pan there. It's had a patch just around here and it looks like it's starting to go underneath where the roll cage plate has been put in, and it's starting to go just down there. It looks like it's a bit of body filler in there, to be honest. It's had various patches welded in over the years. How good they are I don't know yet. I need to grind all that back and assess all that, but at face value it don't look too bad. Need to fix that as well. That is where the fuel pump goes on a Mark 5 and Mark 6 Escort, but the hole is way too small to be able to lift the fuel pump out of. So what people do is just butcher it like that and then lift the pump and the cradle out, rather than dropping the tank like any normal person would, which is bloody annoying because now I've got to fix that. And then moving on to the passenger side, got a lovely hole in the back there. This part of the inner sill actually looks original and not in too bad a shape. It's had a bit of welding on the underside. I'm not too sure what that is just yet, I haven't looked. And then moving up to the front, there's some lovely holes in there. And then again, around where the roll cage mounts is also pretty rusty. It's had a lovely plate put in up here, which I want to chop out and make good. But yeah, needless to say, I've got to take the roll cage out, got to take the dashboard out so we can fix all of that going on down there. Why do I do it to myself? Honestly, it's a good job I like a challenge in it, but we're going to leave that for another day. What I am going to do is stop getting sidetracked and make a start on this, because this is bugging me. And as it stands at the minute, I've not got a whole lot of space to be putting more of this car, because as I'm sure many of you guys know, if you've got a car project, space becomes very tight when you start stripping a car down, and I have none. But what I need to do is grind off all this paint right across here, see how far back this pitting goes. Annoyingly, the panel cut that I've got hasn't got the entire window opening, and I do have some pitting around here as well, but I'm just going to have to treat that and leave that, because there's no way I'm going to be able to make that. Yeah, it's not even worth attempting. So hopefully I've got enough to do away with the most part of this up here, and then we can do away with all this pitting that's down here as well. So grind her out, make some noise, make some mess, see what we're working with this thing. It's almost like I enjoy giving myself more work, you know. So that was the task in hand, and yet I found myself starting to go across this seal here, which has highlighted more rust. Nice little hole there, so I need to cut out that section at some point, replace that. And then I found this bit a bit further along as well, so I need to cut that out and replace that. This is a prime example of why things take so bloody long to do with me, because I just get sidetracked. Right, plan of action then. So now we can really see the true extent of all this pitting. It's not good, man. It's not good. Obviously we need to cut all of this out all the way down to about here. I'm going to cut it just on the inside of this door shut, and then up on this section the pitting seems to finish about there. So I just need to grind a little bit more back up here to get to fresh metal, and then again down this area the worst of the pitting seems to finish about there, which is just above the wheel. I'm hoping I've got just enough on that panel to cover that, but we shall see on that one. So yeah, I need to do the same again on that panel. I'll grind some of the paint off of that, and then cut out what I need on that, and we'll start fabricating it into this. Well, that's most of the evening gone just on cleaning up these panels. That is roughly where the donor panel comes to, which is annoying because it's what, maybe 10-12 inches shy of that bit there that I could also have done with, and this is roughly where I'm going to be cutting on the B post. Initial plan was to cut inside this door shut and then weld in the new piece, but rather than doing an entire weld all the way down, I've made an executive decision to just cut right back to this seam here, and then we'll drill out all the spot welds and we'll just replace that entire thing, because then it's only spot welds rather than an absolute metric ton of weld. And here is the donor piece. It does need a repair. Just in there is a hole there, and it is a little bit rotten, but it's nowhere near as bad as what's on the car, so I'm going to take that as a plus. Now the task at hand is going to be painstakingly trying to unpick this without causing too much damage to it, so I can use it in the car. Now what I have noticed since cleaning all this off is that there's a load of spot welds just inside this door shut area as well, which I was blissfully unaware of until we started cleaning it up. So I've got to somehow try and get them out and unpick them as well. Oh, it's going to be so much fun. Yay. Right, let's go on a tripod and we'll get cracking with it, see how much we can get done tonight. Woohoo! That was a process and a half. Obviously the rear quarter has now been unpicked from the B-pillar structure. I am keeping that by because I don't know if I'm going to need anything from that. Obviously all of this is now unpicked, well, say unpicked, all the spot welds are drilled out, all the ones that I can see anyway. It's been really difficult trying to pinpoint where they are on the car. On this panel it's actually really straightforward, apart from that one. That was really concealed and it took me ages to finally realise that was there. But overall, didn't actually cause any damage to this. Just need to hammer and dolly certain bits back flat, and I do need to make that repair there. But that is nothing in comparison to that. So overall, I'm pretty happy with that. Just spent a bit of time cleaning up the inside, just trimmed this edge off flat and ground it all back. All of this round this flange here is all just surface rust. There's nothing to worry about there at all. The same again all down that edge there, and then all inside there again, nothing to worry about. It is all just surface rust. So yeah, I'm going to leave the wheel arch as is for the minute because I do need to cut this one out anyway, and I have got a new panel for that. But look at that, it is ready for the chop. Unfortunately though, it is now 11:30 on a school night, so I really got to go home and go and get some rest so I can actually go to work tomorrow. So I shall pick you guys back up when I'm ready to come back down here and see what other delights are hiding behind this, because let's face it, we all know there's going to be something else going on behind that. I'll see you soon. It's the moment of truth then, guys and girls. The line has been marked all the way around. Annoyingly, on the sill here, just where my line is, where I need to cut, there's been a patch welded in underneath. So I'm intrigued to see what's going on there once I get this quarter panel out of the way. Again, in the door shut and up on the B-post. This is nerve-wracking. Now I know there's going to be some comments, why don't you just change the entire quarter panel? Admittedly, yeah, that would have been way easier. But one, they're really hard to come by, and two, I don't want to waste all that money on a panel that's then going to be covered up and I'm going to have to cut the guts out of the wheel arch. So that's my reasoning. We'll make do with what we've got. Right, we need to get the grinder out. I need to try not to have any more mishaps. Don't. Safety in mind at all times. And we're going to cut this thing up. I'm going to leave a little bit of material so I don't sort of cut too much. So I'm going to leave, what, say 10 mil, just so I've got some wiggle room there. and hopefully all will be good. Finally. No. Home time. Yep, you're thinking it and I'm thinking it. I must be off my nut doing this. What an absolute turd this thing's turned into, eh? Right, I've just spent about 2 hours trying to clean up all the metal in here to see what is good and what isn't. And yeah, we found some more surprises. So inside here, the back edge of the B-pillar, all of this corner here was also filled up with fiberglass and alley mesh. I'm not going to lie, that come as a bit of a surprise. I wasn't expecting that. I thought I'd already removed all of the fiberglass nonsense. So that's one delight. Second delight, this one was kind of expected because you could already see it was all knackered up around here anyway. That actually goes quite a way down. So yeah, that needs to be cut out. That needs to be cut out. Down on the floor, this is the centre part of the sill, this panel here, and as you can see, the bottom of it is very much non-existent, and you can't see it because there's no light down there, but all the way down that is the case. So I need to cut this out at some point, replace that, do something with it, I'm not quite sure yet. And then all the back edge of the floor pan down here, that is all nice and rot. I need to cut all that out. Someone's put a patch in just where you see that shiny silver bit there. That is on the underside, so I need to get underneath and see what that is exactly, and probably cut that out and replace that. Sills, I'm just going to have to order some new sills because this one's shot anyway. Lovely little patch over there. So we'll do all of that centerpiece when I remove the seal, I think. Like I say, I need to cut these tubs out and then reattach them to the rear quarter somewhere up here, so I've got wheel clearance when I fit the Cosy kit. But yeah, thankfully this panel, this donor panel I had, all of this B-post area is actually pretty good. The inner part I also need to use, but that does need a repair just down here. But at least it hasn't got a gaping great big hole with a load of fiberglass in it, so I'm going to take that as a win. Right, what we need to do, not today though because it's super late now, is drill out all of these spot welds all the way down here and down here, cut across here, drill out these spot welds down here and up here, and then we'll remove this entire piece and swap it over for the other one. But I'll do that another day because I need to chuck a brace in from somewhere up here down to the floor, I think, just so it's got some support. Hopefully things don't move. All in all, this is very swiftly turned into a bit of a restoration project, which I don't really have time for, to be honest. What have I done? What have I done? Right, I'll pick you back up soon. one whole evening this has taken. Don't be fooled into thinking this stuff's quick and easy, folks, because it really isn't. Obviously I've unpicked this section now from my spare donor panel, made a repair down here because that was a bit crusty and horrible, and I've repaired this section up here, which is that bit there. So that is now all good. I've been round, filled up where I'd gone through with my spot weld drill bit, so they're all solid now. In between times I've removed the fuel cell because yeah, as much as I had my old jumper over it, I just didn't really fancy welding inside the car or doing any more grinding with that in there. And now we are up to bracing. So I'm just going to chuck that brace in there, and then I'll probably just chuck another one straight up just to pick it up in the middle, just so it's fully secure, hopefully. And then we can move on to finally cutting out all this rot. So tripod, get this brace welded in, and then we'll start unpicking this panel. I want to be the first to say it, I think I've lost the plot. Genuinely, I think I've gone a bit nuts. Oh dear, look at the state of that. Alright, I have cut this a bit shorter than I needed to, just so I can scribe it in properly later on. I couldn't lay the other panel in over the top of this because it's got that piece behind it, like this one, which is the inside part of the door latch. But now I've got all the space in the weld, I'll be able to scribe that in properly at another point. All down here is actually pretty good, besides the fact I've butchered it a little bit, trying to separate the panels. There's no pitting there though, there's no pitting across here, but there is a tiny bit here, so I'll probably cut this little section out and replace that whilst I've got the access to it. And then we got this bit here, which again is not looking too bonny. So we're going to cut that across there, to do away with all this pitting and all that nastiness, and then we'll utilise the leftover piece of my donor panel, make that little repair there. Hopefully this isn't too bad once I've grind it all back, but we'll lock that off there, puzzle that bit in, and then we can puzzle that bit in, and then we can puzzle that bit in. It's going to be like a patchwork quilt, this car. Oh my god. This has escalated very quickly. Look at it. Right, I'll pick you back up again when I'm back down here. this will never be a normal sight, seeing your car with half a quarter panel missing. So bizarre. Right, so the B post inner section is now held in by Clecos. It is fully scribed in and is good to be welded in at this point. All of this inner section is now fully welded in, but I do need to make this repair down here, which we will get onto shortly. I still also need to make that little repair down there where it's a bit pitted behind here, so we'll sort that out shortly. Not going to weld this in fully just yet. What we're going to do is test fit the rear quarter. I already have, to make sure my door shuts are good, which they are at this point, but I do need to cut the quarter panel in properly. So I need to cut down here, cut across here, and then a little bit more off the sill down there. Once that is then nestled in where it needs to be, and I'm 100% sure that the door shut line is still good, we'll take that back off and weld that in fully. Just makes way more sense doing like that. Last thing I want is to weld that in and then have to try and take it back off because I've messed it up somehow. So yeah, we'll get on with those repairs in a minute, and we can hopefully get that rear quarter put in. I've also had my sills turn up, so we need to get on with that at some point. Yeah, getting there. Look at the scrap pile. I've got a feeling that's going to increase by quite a bit by the time we finish this thing. Right, to the tripods, we'll get some repair bits sorted out. I've really struggled with this bit. This is the infill piece from around the window area. As you can see, that's one attempt that I failed on. Started with the strinker and very swiftly buggered it up. So I cut some slots in it thinking that might help, but nope. Then this one, like a genius, I managed to start bending it the wrong bleeding way. So this is the last attempt, and this one does actually fit, thankfully. And then this is my other little replacement part for that, which is all nice and pitted. So we're going to fit these in the car now, get them welded in, and move on to the B post again. There we go. That is that one done. More importantly, that is that window bit done, and it is looking good. I've just been round sorting out this B post section, so it's now got all the spot weld hole punched in it, and I've been round spraying a load of primer. I've got recommended this stuff, apparently it's meant to be really good, so that is anywhere that I don't need to weld, like through the centre of here, up there, and I've sprayed a bunch up inside this cavity here as well. And then this is my weapon of choice for around the edges where I do need to weld. Been using this stuff a bunch on the Quattro Escort as well, so hopefully with any luck we shouldn't have any issues where rust causes problems like this again. Right, I just need to let this go off now. Once that's gone off, we will pop it into position, tack it in temporarily, and then move on to fitting this section, and then we will make sure the door shut is still good before pulling that back off and then welding that in fully, and then it'll be that one's turn. Bloody marvellous, look at that. She is in. So now is the moment of truth then, folks. We have got to put this panel in and try and make it look decent. to an extent. Obviously all this part's going to be getting hidden anyway, but I would like to try and make it look as best as I can. So back on the tripod then, and we'll try and get this panel fitted in. What I might do is put the door latch on and actually latch the door shut, just to make absolutely damn sure the door shut is good. I think that'd be I think it'd be rude not to, really. Right, let's get it on there. Well, I'm absolutely stoked with that. Done. Alright, we just need to start welding this thing in place now then. Obviously I do still need to make that little repair there, but I'll cut that out once everything's in place, and then I've got something solid to work to. Yeah, well happy with that. Right, let's clean it all up, get it ready to weld in, and then we'll go from there. Well, it's taken me the whole evening, but I am absolutely chuffed to bits of that. Door shut is good, swage lines all follow through. Man, I'm happy with that. I am definitely happy with that. If you get closer, you can pick out where it's been welded in. Ignore that line, that's the old paint line, but that is where it's been welded in there. And that is where it's been welded in there. I mean, if I wanted to be really keen, I could try and get in through the back and hammer and dolly that so it's dead flat, but it's only going to be covered up anyway. I obviously haven't welded in down here because all that's being changed anyway. I've only tacked it over here. But yeah, dead chuff with that, man. Like I say, that has taken me a whole evening, especially on this part. I've just done a bit of a weld, and just sort of staggered myself, sprayed it with some compressed air just to try and cool it down and hope that I didn't distort the panel. And yeah, I think it was well worth the time and effort. Look at that. That is looking good, folks. All that's left to do on this side now is that little repair in there. But like I say, it's taken me all evening to do this, so I'm going to bugger off home, and we'll do that bit next time I'm down here. I'll see you then. Alright, you have to excuse the noise because the great British weather is well and truly upon us. It was so heavy just a minute ago in the rain, I thought it was going to come in. Alright, I've just made a little template here, just so I know what I'm working to shape wise. But the annoying thing with this piece here that I need to make is that this angle here is a right angle, that's 90 degrees. Same again here, whereas in here it's more of a 60-degree angle with the bend. So I think what I'm going to have to do is make up my little right angle piece when I can get my words out, cut this out, and when I start welding in the new piece, tap that down to stretch the metal to then suit that radius there. I think that's the plan. So onto the tripod. I'm going to carry on listening to the cult, and you guys are going to listen to something that's not going to get me demonetised. Well, here you can see I've got my shape right, so that fits in there lovely. But when you look round there, it runs away. So I need to get creative with something and see if I can basically hammer that down and stretch the metal, i.e. in this corner here, so it all runs true and uniform with that corner on the car there. So let's see what we can do with this and make this work. Right, that's no good. So trying to stretch this bit of metal here is just not working out. So plan is now, weld that in place, just tack it in, and then we'll start stretching that bit down there by actually tapping it into place, rather than me wasting 3 hours of my life trying to get that to work. Well, as you would have seen, even tacking this in place and hammering it into position still took a fair chunk of time. But that is it. That is done. Just need to wait for the primer to fully cure, and then we'll go about welding that in. But I really need an air compressor, man, with one of those small reciprocating saws, because then I think I probably could have got away with not having to cut back into this part of the panel. Dope. Right, let's wait for that to cure. We'll clamp it in place and then get it fully welded in. We came, we saw, and we conquered, folks. Look at that. That is not too bad in the slightest. All the door shut line is good. All the swage lines run through nice and true. Can't ask for more than that. But we are almost rot free on this back corner now. Just need to tackle this area around here and then do the tubbing on my wheel arch that I want to do. And then we're going to be pretty much sorted. Obviously do the sills as well, but yeah, we'll tackle that another day. But look at it. Look, how good is that? I'm absolutely stoked with that. But I'm afraid we are out of time. This has been a monumental amount of work to do this. Completely underestimated how much effort would be involved in doing that. But we got there. So we have literally just ticked over a year of me doing this now. So I want to thank each and every one of you that have subscribed and been following along for the Quattro Escort project. And hopefully you'll stick around and we can find out what's going on with this thing and see what's lurking beneath when I start cutting more of the stuff out of it. I hate to think what's going on inside that. So yeah, again, thank you very much for subscribing. I still can't believe that almost 5,000 of you nutcases are watching my channel. Legends. Alright, until next time, be good and see you soon. So yeah, she's pretty well rotten, folks. Let's be honest. What have I bought?